Hello again, we're back for another CGC unboxing. I got 5 books in here that just came today, and I actually got another box over there. It came exactly the same time, and they were sent in over a week apart. This one had like a 10 or 12 day turnaround time. This is actually the most recent submission. I just got done. These things aren't even cool out of the press yet, pretty much. But yeah, clean the press, all of these books. We got some cool books in here. Before I get to the unboxing though, I wanted to apologize. Last unboxing video, I said that all the books behind me were going to be books that I pressed. Well, actually, I had an X-Men up there, 207. I have cleaned and pressed one, but that was not the one that I cleaned and pressed. It was one of the ones that we got really lucky on to get a 9.8. So, my mistake, but good news is I've got an empty slot there now. So, let's look at these books here, and we'll pick one from the batch. I'll have you guys vote again. Which book from this batch do you want me to stick in that slot? And, we'll keep rotating the books here. I might remove these spawns the next time we do an unboxing and put another book there. We'll try to get very cool, high-dollar books back here eventually, and we'll rotate them out as we go. So I'm going to go ahead and get this thing open, and let's go ahead and get started and see what we got here. So, all right, here we go. As most of you know, this is my third submission, where I actually cleaned and pressed the books myself. I'm learning how to do that. I've only been doing it a couple of months, but I've learned so much, but I also know I have so far to go. So most of these books are nice books, but they're not like super high-dollar books. If I fail on some of these books, it's not the end of the world, because I like to have a little bit of something, some meaning to it, or like some, I don't know what you call it, some skin in the game. I feel like I won't try as hard or put as much attention to detail as I would if I was working on just some test books. Now, I did do 10 or 15 test books. I didn't just pull out these books first off and just start working on it. I had a short track record before I started working on these books. So let's go ahead and just get to it. Now, this first book is one that I really like, and you can get this for like next to nothing. I don't remember what I paid for this, but it was certainly under $20. Well, they have pretty good value at the higher grades, but I just am an Indiana Jones fan. I bought a few of these. I'm actually going to give one to my mom, as most of you know, and if she probably watches these videos now, so sorry, Mom. I don't mean to give it away, but you're probably going to be getting one of these this year later on. So, yeah, I'm just going to give her the highest grade one that I get. So, yeah, it's nothing really to say. It's a #1 issue, Adventures of Indiana Jones. It's got a nice cover. It doesn't look that much like Harrison Ford, but he's got the whip, some of the characters that are in the movies. Anyways, I just think it's a cool book. Anything that brings back 80s nostalgia, we love it, right? So let's go ahead and see how we did. On this one, I thought it was nothing but a 7.0. It had some really bad bends in it. I think this whole area here was bent up good and up here, if I remember correctly. So I had to do quite a bit of work. I spent a lot of time on this book, a lot more than I probably should have, but it took some moisture. It took pressing it several times. This was a difficult one to work on, and I thought I got it up to a 8.5 to a 9.0. Would be ecstatic to get as high as a 9.0. It's got some unpressable defects on it that keep it from getting any higher than that. I just noticed there's some pretty bad Newton rings here. Ouch. The last submission didn't have them like that. But I have a fix for that, and I did a video on it. I'll put a link in the description to that. You get 80 or 90% of the Newton rings on. It's pretty, it's not, I haven't damaged the book yet, although it's kind of scary messing. Anyways, watch that video. So let's go ahead and let's see what we got on our first book here. Hoping for an 8.5 to a 9.0. Okay. Man, the first book in every single one of these submissions just seems to be far exceeding what our expectations are. I must be just way too, like I said, I've said this in the last couple of videos, I'm just too harsh of a grader, maybe? I don't know. That book looks good, but see, lighting isn't that good in here, so it's hard for me just to look at it now. Lighting is kind of good behind the camera, but as far as overhead over here, it would wash out the video if I were to turn these lamps on. I'm not going to do that to you. But yeah, I'm very happy about a 9.6. Yeah, those Newton rings are horrible on this thing. I don't know if you can see them. Yeah, you can see them there. All the way from here, all the way up, halfway up his body to here. I don't know if they're all going to show up, but yeah, that's terrible. But I'll do the little fix on them. Yeah, Newton rings up to this guy's head too, on that side. That's pretty, I'm just tired of the Newton rings. This book looks good though. I don't remember what it was that I thought wasn't pressable that would cap us at a 9.0. But now that I'm looking at it, I mean, it has one of these spines. If you get one of these spines where it kind of wraps further around the front cover so it shows all this white, sometimes it'll wrap around the other way where it's more blue on the spine. If you're trying to buy a book and you want to kind of cut down on spine ticks, color breaking, if you can find these ones that just have the white spine, like it's wrapped slightly different. Some books are wrapped more on where the back cover has more of the blue, so it would be all blue here. It just hides spine ticks very well when you buy it that way, just a tip. So whenever I see this white spine, it's not necessarily a miswrap, but just sometimes you'll see that. I go after books like this because I know it's not going to be as eat up with spine ticks, or at least the spine ticks won't be as visible. So yeah, there's a scuff right here as well. So quality control, guys, not very good on these books lately. I'm very happy about the grade, so I'm not going to complain. So we'll chalk that up as a big win. So yeah, 9.6. Hey mom, you might get you a 9.6 when I was not expecting that. So yeah, next we have another classic book. This is Early Art by Todd McFarlane. This area here, and actually this might be is this his first cover art? But it's right here. It's one of his early ones. I mean, I don't think it's his first, but right here on the Coyote series. This was pretty rough. It was like a 7.5 when I got it, but I thought I could get it up as high as an 8.5, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's an 8.0. It had some challenging things on it. I don't remember what the major flaw was. Yeah, there's a color break here that I can just see right offhand. There was a little like crease here on the spine that I couldn't do anything about. The bottom of the spine here is banged up pretty good. So yeah, it's got some flaws, but it's still a high grade book, upper mid grade or high grade book. So anyways, I'm hoping for an 8.0 or an 8.5. So let's see how we did. Very happy about that one. Yeah, once again we're exceeding our grade that we were hoping for. Hoping for an 8.5, we got a 9.0. And this one has a printing error, I think. There was a line through here. I wasn't 100% sure that was a printing error back when I was doing this book, but now I've seen several copies that have that. So maybe that's why I capped it at 8.5. So maybe without that I would have said 9.0. So maybe I wasn't off. I just didn't have knowledge back then. So once again, we're at this point in the unboxing where no matter what happens now, I'm already happy. It's been a successful unboxing. I got 2 books that far exceeded my expectations. We're good. So the next one, I'm still kind of, I hate to even look at this book really because it just breaks my heart because I did a video on this one where the guy shipped it and he shipped it with backing boards bracing it, which is great. Put backing boards around it, put a little bit of extra care in it, package it well, but the problem was one of the backing boards had tape residue all over, or it's like somebody had stuck double-sided tape on it at one time and forgot it was there. I don't even know. I did a video on it. It just really breaks my heart because if you look here, you can see those spots. Luckily, that's all it did because the tape actually extended all the way through here. And there is some light here, but you can't see it. It's basically a tape pull. That's what that is. This book, otherwise, I thought was a 9.8 candidate when I got it in. If he had not done that, look up the value on Legend of Zelda #1. Go into your chosen valuation app, whatever you use, and look up the value on a 9.8. Well, he pretty much capped us here. I think we're capped at 9.2 because of that. So when I got it in, I thought it was a 9.0 because of this. And it had some bends, it had some spine stuff that could be corrected. I did all the corrections that I thought, but I still think without this, we'd be at about 9.6, outside chance of 9.8. But because of this, I just think we started with a 9.0. I probably could have just submitted, been happy with a 9.0, but I think we can still get it to 9.2. I just have no idea how harshly they're going to grade this. They could give us an 8.0 on this for all I know. I'm keeping this copy till I get a higher grade one. And I played the original Zelda on Nintendo, beat Ganon, all that stuff. Back before there were any guides, I beat it on my own, just as everybody. We went up the mountain. We did all that stuff, right? We had to figure it out on our own. We didn't have anybody helping us back in those days, and I think I beat it in a week. Of course, I played 18 hours a day, so of course I'm going to beat it in a week. If I didn't do it in 4 days, something's wrong, right? But anyway, a little bit of nostalgia with Nintendo. I actually have one downstairs. I might play this game later. This is fun. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and show you the grade now. And once again, I'm hoping for as high as a 9.2. I don't know, man. So apparently you can have a tape pull, a tiny one like that. Now this is just, look, if you measure that, I mean, it's almost immeasurable. It's so tiny. This really, really irks me now. I mean, I'm happy. No, don't get me wrong. I'm happy for the 9.6, but this would be a 9.8. This tells me I would have a 9.8 right here. The value on a 9.8. Holy crap, man. I mean, I'm ecstatic about the 9.6. I don't even remember what the value is. I'll put it up on the screen here. It's high. And I'll also put what I paid for this book. I actually got a refund, partial refund, because of this. I think he gave me $50 back. So I paid almost next to nothing for this book. So I'm doing fine. Even if we got a 5.0 in this book, I'm doing fine. But the fact that I mean, if you look at the difference between 9.8 and 9.6, look how much money this guy cost me. I mean, I should bill him for $1,000 or whatever, you know. But anyways, let's stay positive, right? We can't do anything. We didn't do anything wrong. I'm overjoyed though. Man, don't make me sound like I'm. Look at the grades I'm getting in my last couple submissions. I'm good. You know, I'm not losing sleep anymore over this one. I'm happy. So I feel like kind of faith has been restored a little bit in this book. I'm gonna keep this. I don't think I'll sell it. I'll think about it. Especially if it's like peaking and has a lot of value, because I might be able to find another copy before I do that though. But yeah, very happy with my two 9.6s and my unexpected 9.0. So I got 2 more left. And I just had this one in my last video, another copy of this. I got 5 copies at once. I bought them in bulk. Came as like a warehouse find or whatever. I got a really good deal on it. I think I paid like $92 each if you divided it. I paid a lot of money for all 5. It's like $400. But when you think about it, you know, each book, even at a low grade, is worth $92 probably. Just because, you know, I know it's Adventures of Super Mario Brothers, but there actually is less on the census of this book than the original Mario Brothers. So it has value. People that can't find copies of the Mario Brothers, obviously this is still going to have demand. It's only a year later. I don't know if it reprints, but it says it reprints Super Mario 1, but you know, reprints sometimes are rarer and sometimes have more demand than the original. I'm not saying that's the case here. You still want the original, I think. But it's still a valuable book at any grade. So the last one we got, I think we ended up with a 7.0. It was the roughest of the bunch though. As we go through these submissions, obviously I'm going to be working on higher and higher grade copies as I go. I'm starting with the lower grades for obvious reasons. But this one I thought started at a 7.0. But I thought it was kind of capped at 8.0. I forget why it was capped. There's a reason. Yeah, I should make better notes so I can tell you guys this stuff. Probably after I look at it, I can figure it out. But it was probably rough around the edges. There was something about it, you know. But it was heavily soiled before I did this. If you look at the pictures before, I've got a picture of one of them before I can put on the screen. These were all soiled. I don't know what they sat around like in a stack in a dirty room or something for years probably. So I'm hoping for an 8.0, but I'll be happy with a 7.0. If I just got like 7.0 on all of them, I would at least make a little bit of money. I think I made $11 on the last one after expenses and auction fees and all that are factored in. I would have made about 10 or 11 bucks. But hopefully I do better than that this time. So let's see what we got. Okay, we're getting better. It's a half step. So you know, I don't know these books. I don't know how they grade these. I do know that sometimes they undergrade these because there's inherent flaws in them that go across the entire spectrum. Yeah, there's a big rip right here. That was the flaw in this one. The last one had like big creases right here. This one has this giant rip. It's almost an inch long. So I'm pretty sure that caps us at probably 8.0. And then they probably downgrade it for one of the other flaws. So actually there's a crease here too. So it had that same crease, just not as bad as the last book. But luckily the damage on these books is all on the back. So if you want a good value on a very nice presenting book, these books are great. I'm probably going to be selling these on shortboxed. I'll probably keep one of the higher grades for myself and sell the rest. Hopefully the rest are all higher grades. But 7.5 of this book is nothing to shake a stick at. It still has value. So yeah, cool book. I love the Super Marios. I love this cover with the clouds. This brings back, probably is more reminiscent of like Super Mario 2, not 1. I think the way they did the graphics in number 2 was more in line with this cover than the original. They really upped their game, I think, in 2. If you guys remember back in the original NES, how different 2 was than number 1. And a lot of ways it was a lot better, a lot of ways, you know, it wasn't so good. I think the playability wasn't quite the same or as good, but graphics definitely made a big leap to that second. Now this one I saved for last for a reason. There has been a journey on this book. Most of you are familiar with this. Okay, they did do it. For a second there, I thought they didn't put it on here, but this is the Mark Jewelers Amazing Spider-Man 328 that was shipped poorly by My Comic Shop, which ever since then, they also shipped me another box that was just terribly packaged as well. So they do not do a good job. And 3 strikes and you're out, they use UPS, which is, do not, as it stands right now in 2022, do not use UPS. They're very rough with packages. Why is this giant company, anyways, I don't want to go off it. Why are they using UPS? Just, guys, My Comic Shop, anybody out there, pay the extra 30 cents per package or whatever and get FedEx or USPS. And not media mail. Stay away from UPS. Anyway, I'm done with the rant. But yeah, if you see the way this book was before I got it, it'll make you cry, especially because it's a Mark Jewelers. Luckily, it wasn't like a 9.8 or something. You know, it was a mid-grade copy. Anyways, I got it in. If they hadn't have crushed this part of the book, it probably would have been a 9.0, I'm guessing. But because there's these giant ticks, color breaks now because of the crush, you can see right there. There's nothing we can do about that. And it's actually worse in person. It extends about that far into the book. And it's all along this side. And I did my best to clean it up. And there's a color break right there that they caused. So yeah, it was mangled up pretty good. But I did an okay job of getting it back in shape. And I also whitened the book as well. This is one of the ones I fully whitened. And it was pretty, I did a whole video on it, so I'll link to it, about whitening this one. I even whitened the Mark Jewelers insert. Now this one I did the test on where I did 45 minutes twice in the light box, and that's it. Front cover, back cover, an entire book, only 45 minutes per. You're supposed to do like 3 hours to even 6 hours if you do it over a couple days to whiten books. But I did like a quick whitening. I'm trying to figure out the minimum time you can make it spend in a light box, because obviously we don't want to expose it more than we have to achieve the goal. So I'm hoping for white pages, which it certainly was not before I did the whitening. And I don't really know about the grade. The grade isn't important. This is like a test book whitening. I think, now when I got this book in, I would call it a 3.5 just because of this terrible bends. You know, it's probably, before that they destroyed it, it was probably more like a 7.0 with a cap at 9.0. Now I probably think it's capped at 8.0. But 7.0 to 8.0, anywhere in that range, I'm going to be happy. You know, this is a Mark Jewelers. It was sold on bases. It was sold to military people mainly. And yeah, so it has a lot of value for people that collect the Mark Jewelers. A lot of people do. And it's just a rare book to find in higher grades. So, you know, it's always got this, you know, the newsstand, because it's Mark Jewelers. They didn't have comic shops. They shipped it to bases, right? So anyway, so let's go ahead and see what we got. High as 8.0 is the best we're going to do here. This one is amazing to me. I have no idea how this is a 9.2. I mean, I'm happy, but I'm going to have to disagree. I really have to disagree with this one. I mean, look at that corner there. See that? Now, that alone probably gets us to 9.0 or 8.5. It's probably not doing justice on the video here. Let's see if I can get it to focus. I mean, there's a pretty good, I would say, you add those 2 creases up right there, that's a good 1/2 inch. And then you add up all of these giant ticks here. You're probably at a good inch of color break between the ticks and right there. And there's other flaws on this book. I mean, there's more ticks up here. I mean, there's color breaks. I mean, it's flat. I got that part done. I'm trying to think. There was something else on this book. Like a tear, maybe. Hey guys, I didn't notice this till after I'd stopped recording. But look at this. Look at that. That was not there when I sent it in. There's a big chunk out of the side of this book. That's a big chunk. I mean, that's a lot. How does this happen? Who did this? I got pictures. I'll show you the befores. This was not on this book. Is this even my book? It is, because I recognize that. But somebody damaged my book. And they still gave me a 9.2. How does it, I mean, the only thing I can think of is they graded it. Then when it was being encapsulated, it got damaged and they didn't change the grade. I mean, how else could somebody grade that a 9.2? I mean, that's got to cap it at like 7.0, right? I don't really know. I mean, that is a big chunk. Okay, well, I think I have to, I don't know what to do. But yeah, I just wanted to let you guys know. I just noticed I'm a little disappointed. My book is damaged now. Doesn't present as nice, so. And I looked around, it's not in the case anywhere. It didn't break off in the case, so I don't know. I don't know what's going on with that. Okay. Book looks great though on the back. I mean, actually, if you look at the back of this book, I don't see anything. It looks like a 9.8 on the back, so that's good. It's got sharp corners. It's just the front. So maybe they did the subtractive process and was like, okay, this gets us to 9.4 and this gets us to 9.2. I don't know. I'll see if there's grader's notes on this one. But I think they kind of dropped the ball on this one. So I do see books that you would never think are a 9.2 or 4 that get that grade. So they're pretty lenient in that realm. Of course, I could have easily seen this being a 7.5 as well. I would have graded this book an 8.0 just because of that and that. And so yeah, pick the one that you like the best. Do you like the Super Mario? Do you like the Zelda? You know, we got the 9.6. That's pretty amazing on that book. Are you a fan of McFarlane? Do you want the Coyote? Or should I put the 9.6 Indiana Jones on the wall? You guys let me know. Everybody just vote one time. What do you think is your favorite book that I should put up here in this slot? And, you know, for at least a couple weeks, I'll put it up there in that slot until we find another book. I'll rotate them around. We don't want to get bored by looking at the same stuff behind us, right? So it's a tough one for me. You know, if it wasn't for this last one, I would put this one on the wall. This is the one that I would normally put. But sentimentally, and for what this book has been through, this book deserves to be right there in that spot. And I might leave it up there. I'm not sure yet. So let's go ahead and get this thing up here. See if I can do it without knocking down my toy on top or destroying my All-Star Squadron. How about that? Oh, I just noticed they're both McFarlane's right next to each other. Yeah. So, Amazing Spider-Man 328, Mark Jewelers, we got the 9.2. And very close second would be this Zelda, which we ended up with a 9.6, which is a huge amount of value on this book. I wish I had 100 copies of this. If I could buy 100 copies of this for $10,000, I would do it all day long because I know I'm probably going to quadruple my money, right? So vote for your favorite one. I'll tally it up, and then I might think about replacing that 328. Maybe not, though. I'll put it somewhere up here. Maybe I'll move that over here and then replace it with whatever you guys' vote is. So anyways, that's it for the video. I don't mean to run this long. I actually intend, whenever I make these videos, to do 10 minutes. And I just can't shut up, apparently. So I apologize for that. I'll try to do better. If you guys, let me know in the comments, do you mind the 20-25 minute videos, or do you prefer me to try to get this down to 10 minutes? I know you guys don't want to see, you got better things to do than to look at this for 20-25 minutes up to an hour, right? So thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.